I'm very much ready. Are you ready?
No! Hey everybody, it's me, Myammee. Welcome to Myammee TV, my new YouTube channel. And today I have a beyond special guest, a friend of so many years, a lot of years.
Yes. We're not even gonna count.
And I remember she texted me and she called me, texted, and we talked after about a story that she just had to talk about, something that she personally experienced. And after I talked to her over the phone, I'll say like a month or 2 months later, I say, you know what? I gotta interview her. Of course, Project E&M, which is my HIV and AIDS awareness YouTube channel. And I said, I want to do other topics and I want to talk about other issues in the world. And this is one of them that many people face. So before we get into deep, I'm going to introduce the doctor herself, okay? Mrs.
Well, not me. Look, like,
Oh, yeah. Not Mrs.
Not yet.
Dr. Tiffanie. Say hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
Okay.
Brief overview, and then we'll get into the topic.
Okay. All right. Dr. Tiffanie Williams, native of Jacksonville, Florida.
Tell them about the line system.
My wonderful line sisters, yes. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. My education and all that. We can go into that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Graduate of Florida State University with my bachelor's science in family, child, and consumer sciences. I later received my master's degree in social work, and then later on in life obtained my doctorate degree in health sciences. So now I just basically work in the healthcare field at a hospital here in Jacksonville, Florida, and I do assessments, mental health assessments.
Okay.
So that is what I'm doing now, among other things.
So today is a touchy subject. It's a topic, again, that many women face.
I say 1 out of 4 women, but actually we can go as far as to say 1 out of 4 parents, because it's not only just the women who lose a child, it's you know, the father loses a child as well. But the statistic goes 1 out of every 4 women will experience a pregnancy loss. So
start with, you just found out you was pregnant.
Oh wow.
And we're going to start from there. And we're going to get to the answer. You guys can hear this amazing story and also how she pulled through and how she's here today, looks so lovely. And
wow.
Yeah, so let's jump. Go ahead.
And I know this sounds stupid, and I'm very grown, but I didn't think it could happen. But of course, with the activities that I was engaged in, of course, it was to be expected. But I was so out of it, like in shock. I went ahead and I took a pregnancy test, and then of course,
the same day you just went back to the store, back to the store, back to the store.
I don't know. I was still in shock, in denial.
Yeah,
basically.
I think that's the word.
Denial. That's
so now we're pregnant.
Yes.
I know we're gonna get to the 10 to 15 week situation.
Right. And then of course around that time too,
graduation, right?
I was getting ready for a graduation, so I'm trying to finish up all my classes, and that was pretty stressful. Yeah, I walk across that stage, I get hooded. I am officially Dr. Williams. And I was sick as a dog. And that's where
things kind of began.
Yeah, that's where things kind of began with, you know, me being extremely ill.
Okay. So let's jump forward. So now you are Dr. Williams.
Yes.
And 10 weeks is here now.
Yes. 10 weeks.
So let's talk about that. The whole time frame of 10 to 15 weeks, what happened, what was diagnosed, what you was going through every day, all of that. So I don't know the name of that word. Only she knows the name of that word.
Yes.
What is how do you pronounce it?
Hyperemesis gravidarum.
This word right here.
G. HG for short.
Okay.
It is like nausea and vomiting on
honey.
steroids. Yes. you know, you hear women say, oh my gosh, I'm so sick. Oh, the smell of this makes me vomit. And, you know, they're still eating ice cream and potato chips and pickles. No, for me, it was from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, I was nauseous. Anything I ate, whether I ate or not, came up. It was to the point where I was vomiting stomach acid. I went to one OB appointment, and the next OB appointment, I had dropped 15 pounds. I had ran the gamut of all anti-nausea medications to address, you know, my illness, and nothing worked. Even down to a medication that one of the nurses told me was used for cancer patients, and she was like, yeah, this medication is for cancer patients to help them after their cancer treatments, and you know, it works wonders. And I'm just thinking to her, I mean, looking at her like, didn't work. It didn't work for me. It did not work for me. Nothing
was
worked for me. And, you know, going to my OB and saying this, you know, this isn't working. She gave me prenatal vitamins that were supposedly mixed with, you know, B12 or B6 or something like that to help with the nausea. That wasn't working. It was just everything. So after all of that, having to go through all of that, I eventually, I made the choice to be an advocate for myself. And I told my OB, I said, I cannot continue to go to the ER and get rehydrated only to be sent home, and 2 days later be back to the same position. You all need to admit me and observe me and do whatever you need to do to make sure that I'm healthy. Because then, of course, at this time, you know, I've got other health issues going on. You know, I'm forming kidney stones, UTI. I was severely dehydrated. It was, I was hyperkalemic, which basically means that's low potassium. It was
a lot going on.
It was a lot going on.
And the good thing, I like what you said, you took charge.
Yes.
You just see, ladies, you cannot just sit back and allow these doctors just to tell you. Sometimes you gotta listen to your inner self and say, you know what, something else. I know you're supposed to be a professional, but something not right.
Yes.
So if you didn't open up your mouth and say, admit me.
Right.
You probably wouldn't even went to the hospital and got admitted.
No.
So you got to take charge sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not stepping on their toes, not to tell them, hey, I know more than you, but you got to listen to yourself. Right. Speak up to these doctors. Just because they're doctors, they are not God. Speak up to them if it comes to you. Right. So,
and I think I was probably 14 weeks around this time. Around this time, I was about 14 weeks.
And 14 is still in the first trimester, right? Wait
a minute. No, we're in the second now.
Beginning of the second.
I was able to eat a little bit more, and it did stay down a little bit. I started gaining back my weight a little bit, something like that.
So half of this time, you was already out of work.
Yes, was out of work, on short-term disability. Basically, there was even talks of, you know, having a nausea pump put on and having a nurse come out to my home.
Oh yeah, we have her baby coming downstairs. You hear this jiggling, jangling.
You hear the jingling, jangling. That's just my 4-legged baby.
It's like, just don't mind me. We not.
Go sit down. Thank you.
Oh, he just so like it's just
go sit down.
Okay.
So embarrassing. Okay. All right. So, but anywho, the 18, 19, 20 week mark is where they schedule you for an anatomy scan. Of course, this is also when you find out the gender of the baby.
Okay.
And so I was extremely excited. I was going to have a gender reveal, so I didn't plan on having them tell me, you know, what I was having.
Okay.
But I was extremely excited. You know?
Right.
So
you should be.
The technician is doing her thing and looking and taking pictures, and I'm just laying there looking, oh my gosh, it's a big old head. And I just remember laying there and just being like, wow, this is real. This is happening.
Mommy.
Exactly. Like, this is awesome. And then they do a transvaginal scan. So they do a probe. Inside. Yes, they put a probe inside to see what was going on. And that is where things like
went this way.
Yeah. Okay. So of course, you know, I'm not no dummy. Don't want to brag. I'm not no dummy. So, and I'm looking at the monitor, and something doesn't look right. And it was like the bubble, I could tell, was near my cervix. And it was almost like it was coming out of something. And she kept pushing, and you would just see this bubble with these particles, you know,
like
floating around.
Kinda.
Yeah, floating around each time she pushed. And it was, the sac was already basically inside of my vaginal canal. So she was like, let me go get the doctor. Now when nurses, technicians, whomever say, let me go get the doctor, to me, that means something's not right. So at this time, I was 18 weeks in 1 day. And that basically I was in danger of miscarrying. He told me at the time there was a 10% chance that my pregnancy would be successful.
Wow. 10% chance that it's going to be successful at this moment.
At this very moment. 10% chance. In fact, I ended up like having a panic attack, literally. And what he said was, what I could do is have a procedure called a cerclage.
Cerclage. Pause, you guys. That's exactly what a cerclage is. And this is how it looks.
I will also run the risk of the amniotic sac
being
rupturing. Because what they said was, we have to make sure that you're a good candidate for the procedure.
Okay.
They wanted to make sure I wasn't having any infections. They wanted to make sure I wasn't having any major contractions going into preterm labor. And they wanted to make sure that I didn't open up any further than where I was. And I remember my mom saying, you know what, Tiffany, it's a 10% chance. It's a 10% chance. And we're going to believe, you know, it's better than none. And we're just going to believe in God that, you know, it's going to be okay. So overnight I stayed. The next day the doctor comes in and she's like, okay, well, you know, you look fine. We're going to go ahead and move forward with the procedure. And of course at this time, you know, my mom was there, my cheerleader, my extreme advocate,
everything.
And so she's like riddling off these questions to the doctor. And,
good job, Mom. Keep them together.
Yes. Riddling off these questions to the doctor, and she said, well, you know, what are the chances? And of course, this particular doctor who does all of these procedures, and she was like, well, you know, there's about a 50% chance. So
we go from 10 to now to 50.
50% chance.
Different doctor. Different place.
Well, it's the same place.
Same place, but just different specialists.
Yes. They're all at the same.
Opinions are almost like, how they say that thing again?
Opinions like
a butt. Okay. Everybody has one. Now we're supposed to trust these doctors because they're supposed to know and be educated enough to know what they're talking about. But how is it that one doctor says 10% and next says 50? Y'all, please, if you have to get a second opinion, a third one,
a fourth or
a fifth, whatever it takes, if you have the money to, do it. Especially if it's something crazy like they tell you, oh, it's a 5% chance. Go see somebody else. Don't just take that.
Right. Absolutely.
Do your homework too.
So after we get, you know, the word of 50% chance, you know, I started feeling
hopeful.
Of course, more hopeful. And I have to say, like, during this time period, this is where I really began to hinge on to my faith. Like my faith in whatever happens will happen because it's God's will to happen.
Right. So the surgery is over.
The surgery is over. All is well. Good to go. Discharged the next day. I was told, I need to, pretty much be on bed rest. So
for how long you said?
Throughout my entire pregnancy.
For the rest
of the pregnancy.
Which is like 21 weeks. 22 more weeks.
It's pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
So I was discharged on that Saturday. I had a regular OB appointment scheduled that following Tuesday anyway. So I went to my OB. She checked me out. She said, okay, I see the cerclage. I see it stitched up. It looks good. She checked for amniotic fluid. She checked for all that. Everything's good. Everything's fine. This is Tuesday. Went back to the Rock on Thursday for the follow-up for the procedure.
Gotcha.
And that is when they told me that the cerclage had failed. And that
2 days after you just was told that everything was fine.
2 days after I was told everything was fine. It had failed, and I was about a half a centimeter to a centimeter dilated.
So here we go again.
So you
go up, down, up,
down.
I know that's mentally
beyond exhausting.
Straining, yeah.
Yes, straining. Yes.
He said it failed. Now what?
You have two choices. You can abort the baby, or you can wait it out and see what happens.
And being a woman of God,
I was not going for the first option. I was going to
up.
Exactly. I was not going to give up on my child. I was not going to give up on the situation. I had already been through the worst of the worst. And so many times,
yes,
ups and downs. And so, listen, whatever I need to do,
I'm gonna keep going.
I'm gonna keep going. The doctor ended up consulting with my OB.
The second doctor confirms you cannot get another cerclage.
No.
We have no more options. The only options you have right now is to wait it out. See what happens.
See what happens. The hope, of course, was that I could wait it out until roughly 23, 24 weeks, where and that's the stage of viability where medical intervention can assist the child in living outside of the womb.
Basically, premature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I at least try to get to that point.
Which is like 4 more weeks, or
for me, yes, 4 more.
Like 4.5 more weeks for her to just.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're stretching, but because you have faith, because you're not gonna give up, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
So of course, I think all of us would have did the same thing.
Yes.
Let's see what happens. Okay.
So I stayed in the hospital from that Thursday to that following Monday.
Okay. All right. Monday, you back home.
I'm back home. My parents set me up at my sister's house, and I remember I had like some spotting or some fluid or something. And
as soon as you got there, or the next day?
That night when I got home.
Gotcha.
Set up, and I just started crying. And
now during this time, I know this is tough. Too. Go ahead. During this time, looking at the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking to God? Are you saying, Lord? Are you saying, why? Are you saying, give me strength? Like, what are you saying at this moment? Because you are strong woman of faith. Help me. Don't leave me.
I was saying I'm tired.
Okay. It's okay.
My dad was like, baby girl, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I just told him, I said, Daddy, I'm tired. I'm just tired. Like, the mental, the emotional, it was just getting to me.
Yeah.
And I was just tired. And I felt like I was at the end of my rope, and I felt like a huge failure.
Failure in
just failure in everything. A failure in everything, and especially in
being a mom,
being a mother,
a carrier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, being a mother. Like, oh my gosh, I have failed my child. I heard a voice say, "Mommy, I know you're tired. It's okay." And I believe firmly that at that time, that is when, you know,
it sat with you and resonated with
you. It resonated with me.
Here we go. This is it.
This is it. And
this is it.
So, you know, I just basically said, God, I yield. I said, I yield. And at that time, it was like, just whatever your will is, whatever you would want to have done in this particular situation, I yield, I give it all to you. I'm not in control of this. You are, and whatever happens is because it was ordained to happen.
Right.
And
because at this point you did everything you knew
I
to do.
did everything that I knew.
You made all of your appointments.
I did.
You did everything people told you to do.
Yes.
Took off work. I mean, you did everything.
I did everything.
So at that point, you have to just say, I don't know what else to do, but let it go. Let you handle whatever you have to handle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next morning, I got up, tried to do my usual whatever, not trying to move too much.
Right.
But I noticed he was not moving. Then I started feeling like I had to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
When I went to the bathroom, this is when my water broke.
Wow.
I was sitting on the toilet and my water broke. And I just yelled to my sister. Of course, she's, calling 911, calling rescue. So they were like, get me off the toilet, because if the baby does come, they don't want the baby to drop in the toilet. So she had taken me into one of her rooms and laid me on the floor on a blanket, and I'm just like bleeding profusely.
Wow.
It was to the point where when the rescue came, they had to pick me up in the comforter, because if I stood up, it was just...
It's going to come out even more.
Yes. We made it to the hospital. At this juncture, of course, I still have the cerclage in. It's still there, but it's just not holding all the way.
There's some openings there.
I remember, the doctors hooking me up to a monitor, and he basically said, and I'll never forget these words, he said, his heart rate is 60. He's in distress. He didn't really say he said he's in distress. And that just broke me. He kind of gave me this look like, this is not
what's about
good.
To happen, yeah.
And I just kind of shook my head like, I know, you don't have to explain. And the whole time I'm having contractions like nobody's business.
And you're still having contractions with the cerclage inside. They didn't even go in and try to break it open, so you'll have less bleeding, less pain.
Well, so I eventually went into the OR and had the cerclage taken out. They brought me back to the recovery room. Okay. And then once they had a room available, they brought me in the room, and this is where childbirth is happening now. So I'm having contractions like crazy. I wanted to punch my nurse in the face, because
she will put somebody in the face. It's not
I was in so much freaking pain, and to use the bathroom feeling, I guess that means
it's push.
You need to push.
Wow, I didn't know that was the
No, I didn't know that either.
Well, now we know. Okay.
So
you're pushing.
I am pushing, and she was like, the nurse said, "No, honey, you're pushing in your face." And I was just like, well, I don't know how to do this. You're pushing in your face. So I guess my face was all scrunched up, and I wasn't pushing him. I need you to bear down.
This is after the baby is out.
Yes, he is out. I remember asking, can I know what it is? And then that's when they said it's a boy. Liam Elijah Wesley Boatwright was born on November the 15th, 2016 at 5:37 p.m.
Okay.
Yes, my whole world changed. I remember saying thank you, Jesus, because I felt like at that point in time, you know, my son was in better hands, basically. I remember my nurse, who was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful nurse.
Nurse, let's give her a shout out.
Nurse Amy. Nurse Amy. So I remember talking with her and how encouraging she was. Even I had a moment of clarity. I had a moment of clarity in talking with her. So much of a blessing to me, and how she, I believe, somewhat jump-started, you know, this journey that I'm on. But in any event, yes, shout out to Nurse Amy. And the wonderful part about this experience was that I was able to keep him. I was able to hold Liam the entire night. So he was with me the entire night.
Gotcha.
Up until, you know, the chaplain came and took him.
So you had a good amount of time.
I had a good amount of time to take in, you know, his features, to take in his little feet, to take in his hands and
his everything.
His everything. You know, I had that time to really soak in some memories of what he looked like, what he would have looked like.
Right.
And just be able to hold him. And hardest thing I had to do was give him over to the chaplain. Like, you know, I gave him over to my mom, and my mom was holding him. And I think it was set up that way, and I think it worked out for me that, you know, my mom was the one who actually passed him off, because I don't know if
you can do it.
I would have probably, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, but
it worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
It worked out the way it was.
So you have been introduced to him. You spent time with him.
Yes.
Family seen him.
Yes.
And you had to say goodbye. Goodbye. Your first wave of goodbyes.
Yes.
Right.
And
so let's talk about funeral. How those arrangements went.
Mm.
Was it for those who probably has experienced it or probably going through what you're going through right now, and may have just got that news yesterday or just right now? Funeral expenses. How did that go? How did the whole?
I was blessed.
Okay.
And when I say blessed, I mean blessed to be able to have family members and connections to be able to have a funeral that did not break my pockets.
Gotcha.
My godfather, Mr. Kenneth Peel, who owns Carthage Chapel, was the one who assisted me with my funeral arrangements for my son. Between him, between my mom, I want to say even my sister, Latoya, stepped in and helped out. It was a family effort.
That's amazing.
So grateful to have had them in my corner, because
without them, you don't even know.
I really don't know. It's just a blessing to be able to have family step in and say, let me do this. We got it. Let me take care of this. The only expense that I incurred myself was actually having his headstone put down. And that in and of itself was not cheap. It was not cheap. But it was something that, of course, I had to do. I wanted to do, and I wanted to do the best for him. So I know not one parent, you know, wants to not give their child, you know, a headstone and an identification, letting the world know, you know, this is where my child is. The financial burden that comes with that, you know, you don't have insurance
for that. It's non-existent.
And who thinks of that? Nobody thinks to have an insurance policy or insurance for, you know, the death of a baby prior to birth. So that, of course, began the real
beginning
journey, the real journey.
And we're about to get into that next, you guys. So funeral is over. The new phase of living without. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about family. And of course, we're going to talk about faith, God, testing, and all of that during this time up until right now.
Yes.
And then the week of getting a revelation to start the foundation.
Yes.
So let's jump into that.
All right.
And start with what happened right after.
So what happened right after, as you speak on depression, that is when I started experiencing a lot of mental health symptoms. And being a licensed clinical social worker and having done therapy and being very knowledgeable of, mental health, I knew immediately
what was going on
and what I was experiencing. And basically, I was experiencing a lot of PTSD symptoms.
Wow.
I would have flashbacks like nobody's business. I would have like moments of derealization, moments where I would just go into a fog and then like come back like, whoa, what just happened? And an hour has gone by where I don't remember what I've done. I went through moments of just pacing. I would pace my house aimlessly, forgetting why I even got up from the couch or went to the bathroom or went to the kitchen. I started drinking very heavily. It started off as, a drink here, drink there, and then it turned into I was drinking like a bottle of wine every day.
Did you medicate or did you just pull it through naturally?
I actually thought about medication. Everything that was going on was driving me nuts, and I really did consider going on medication. But
what stopped you?
Because I felt like I could do this.
Okay.
I could do this. It was just, and that's just
a phase.
Just a
phase.
Yeah, I feel like I can do this.
Which I think every woman who experienced this definitely went through. It's a trauma.
It absolutely.
It's a trauma.
It's an absolute trauma.
You know what just came to me?
What?
Okay. Y'all, last night we went to dinner, right? And we kind of just talked about, real briefly, about things that are not just like, not trying to say everything was destined. Like God doesn't kill. There's just things that happen and some things we can't control.
Right.
Do you think, we talk about being chosen, do you think because of what you do, do you think you're going to school for this and being a professional in this area of just mentalness, do you think that was destined for you to do that so you could get through this?
I believe so. Okay. I believe so. God ordained, destined for me to be, a mental health provider, a person who is able to be knowledgeable of these things and intuitive too. And I will say this, it's not my own strength. I can't take credit for it being my own strength, my own intellect, whatever the case may be. Because at my darkest moment, when I was going through this, none of that worked. It did not matter. It did not matter what I knew. It did not matter who I knew. None of that worked for me. I had to pull within and pretty much rely on God.
His strength.
Because that was the only thing. He was the only thing that was going to pull me through. But relying on him, I was strengthened. And that's where my knowledge, that's where who I am, my characteristics and everything
flashback then
came back in and allowed me to be able to persevere and get to the place that I am today, right now.
So you told me suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
I want to talk about that real quickly.
Yes.
How you overcame that without medication.
Yes. I had many thoughts, and I don't think it was so much I want to kill myself. It was I don't want to be here anymore. I want to die, and that was just the deep seated. Every day that I woke up was a challenge. It really was a challenge just to wake up, because I knew whenever I woke up,
You had to face it.
I had to face that reality. I had to face that pain. I had to face that hurt. And that pain is horrible. It's a horrible feeling, and I just didn't want to feel the pain anymore. I didn't.
Right.
I went to the bathroom to get an anxiety medication because I had some old pills from a long time ago when I was having a lot of panic attacks. And I was like, well, let me, take something, just to take the edge off of how I'm feeling right now. But I was going through my medicine cabinet, and of course, there's all these other medications in there from when I was sick. All my nausea medication, everything that
all
was
type of remembering.
Yeah, prescriptions from when, I was sick with Liam. And a voice as loud and clear as I don't know what said, go ahead and do it.
And we all know who that is.
And we all know who that is.
He comes to try to steal, kill, and do whatever it takes.
And destroy. Mm-hmm. And he said, nobody's around. You're by yourself. Won't nobody know. And I immediately started crying because on the one hand, I wanted to do it. But on the other hand, I couldn't do it. And that tug between wanting to end my life so I didn't have to deal with the pain, and the tug between living and knowing that I have a purpose and that everything eventually will be okay. I just remember sobbing and crying uncontrollably. Like it was so bad to the point where I went to the door, I went to my front door and I looked out my peephole to see if my neighbor across the street was there, because I was just going to tell her, like, just help me, take all this medication, help me, don't let me do this, do not let me do this. And came back and I sat back down on the couch, and again, I'm still crying, and I saw my mom called, and of course my mom, my cheerleader, my advocate, if I don't answer the phone, she's like, yeah, having a connection. So I was like, let me call her back, and she was like, Tip, are you okay? Are you okay? And I just started busting out crying, and she was just like, I'm on my way. She had my sister actually come over to check on me, and my baby sister came over, my baby sister Michelle came over, and she prayed with me and she hugged on me, and I was just crying. I told Michelle, I was like, I just don't want to be here no more. I don't want to be here no more. I just kept repeating. And she's like, Tiffanie, don't say that. It's gonna be okay. Don't say that. But I was dead serious. Like, I was dead serious. I was tired. I was hurting, and the pain was so bad. It was so bad that I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
The pain of failure, the pain
of failure, of my child not being here, of even being in the relationship that I was in.
Because that relationship was over. It was just, everything was just on top of me, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I was just over it. And it just so happened that at the same time, I got a message in my Instagram, and it was from a young lady. I hadn't purchased anything from her in a while, and she messaged me and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I, at first when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, this lady, I've never seen her before, never had a conversation with her or anything, but she knows me from buying her products. And the Spirit said, no, tell her really what's going on. Okay. And that's when I told her, and I was like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, a perfect stranger, but this is what's happening to me. And from that moment on, I forged a very wonderful friendship with somebody. Her name is Tamika Allen, and she was a part of, my process in getting over my hump and getting better. She was a divine connection.
She was a divine connection. I totally believe that. And that's when, God started showing me there are people here in your corner. It's going to be okay. I'm setting people in your midst to be able to get you through this and get you to where you need to be. And so
it's not even the people, just God and you. You understand how many times you could have just took your life, but no matter how much struggle and how much tug you was going back and forth, no matter how much going to the door, pacing around, crying, the God in you just could not let you do it. No matter what the enemy was there trying
to do. He was trying. He tried it.
He really tried.
He really tried. And you know, I serve a God that is above all of that, first and foremost. Second of all, I have 2 praying parents that was not going to let that happen. So, you know, I firmly believe that, you know, I was covered. I was definitely covered in that situation. Past that, but what lingered was anger and resentment. And resentment of the relationship. And we'll just leave it at that. Anger and resentment. And so I went.
Did you forgive yourself?
Yes, that's another thing. I went through a period of, you know, forgiveness in that particular aspect, and then I went through a period of forgiving myself
for putting yourself in that position,
for putting myself in that position,
in that relationship,
for getting into that relationship,
and the whole,
for even having had him, you know, having him early. You know, I took responsibility for that. I was like, my body wasn't equipped enough to carry out a pregnancy, to carry him here. There was nothing wrong with him. I kept telling myself there was nothing wrong with him. Nothing wrong with him. But it was me. I failed him. So I had to forgive myself.
You had to just deal with that and say, you know what? It happened.
It happened.
It didn't take overnight, though.
No.
Let them know it don't take overnight.
It was not overnight, and I still have to.
To this day.
To this day, I still have to, you know, reconstruct my thinking. You know, when I get to that point where I'm like, well, maybe I could have. And then I have to tell myself, no, that's not true. This is not true. You're not at fault. There's nothing you could have done to prevent this from happening. You stick with the facts. This is what it is.
Right.
And then, you know, that brings me back to the reality of it. And that is, you know, it's not my fault.
It's not.
So, because one of those days in my period of, you know,
a lot ofness.
That's a good word. In my period of a lot ofness, I took off. I took off to North Carolina. I got in my car.
Just get away.
I got in my car. I didn't pack not one bag. I didn't do nothing. I left my poor dog, and I just got in the car. I did.
I was calling people on you.
I did. Well, he was in the house and he had food, but I didn't take him with me. I didn't. And I just got in the car and I drove until I felt like stopping. And I ended up in North Carolina, and I didn't answer no phone calls. I had my poor family worried, had my line sisters worried. Where was I? Just please answer the phone.
But you had to build yourself back up, whatever it took.
Yeah, and I felt bad too because, you know, I had them worried, but
you got to worry about you sometimes.
Yeah, I still feel bad though.
I know, but still,
at least should have told them. But where I was in that mental space, I didn't really care about anything. I was just like, let me go. There was just like this flightiness, this flighty feeling. I just had to go. And I spent like a night there, and I ended up coming back. So, you know, I knew I was not in a rational space. I was not.
To be staying by yourself? To
be staying by myself.
Gotcha.
I thought I needed to be by myself to, you know, process everything and not just have busyness going on around me to take me away from what was going on. But I think
that's a great
what I was dealing with was too much to be by myself.
Yeah.
And I knew that. So I ended up staying with my dad. And I was with him for a couple of nights, I want to say. And of course, around this time, I'm still journaling, still writing, and I had decided to go on a fast. The fast, I fasted for an entire day, and that next day I was writing, and I remember it like it was yesterday, sitting in the living room on the floor with my journal, pen in hand, and I was looking out the window, and a voice. And when I say the voice or a voice, I'm speaking of the Holy Spirit. A voice.
Exactly. When people say, for those who are not, who just don't know,
right?
It's a prompting. It doesn't have to say, Tiffanie. You know, it's a feeling. How will people say? Something told me.
Something told me.
That.
Yeah, that.
You don't even have to hear, but you feel it.
Yes.
Something.
Yes, there's a feeling.
There's a feeling. That's the only way I can kind of explain it to you guys who don't know.
Yeah, and then there's an actual voice as well. So like before, when I had the feeling, the unction to go on the fast, you know, that was that feeling. That was the in my belief,
a guiding.
Yes, a guiding by God, by the Holy Spirit to do this particular thing, to position me.
To be open
to hearing
exactly
what he had to say. It was like with an exclamation point. Liam lives. And my eyes just like, and I was like, oh my God. And again, I got this journal here in front of me and I just started writing stuff. I wrote Liam lives, and then I just started writing all of these ideas.
And it just came to you just like that.
And it just came. It was almost like I was in a trance, so to speak. And I just started writing stuff, writing. And then all of a sudden, my brain just started flooding with all of these ideas. And that is when the Liam Lives Foundation was born, basically.
Was it a piece? Was it a...
There was
a feeling of...
a feeling of excitement.
Yeah.
Because what was coming out was something that I knew I was made for. Exactly. And my daddy was like, listen, baby girl, do not allow this one situation, this one mistake, this one whatever take you out.
Redefine you.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. You made one mistake. You're fine. You're okay. Forgive yourself. Stop doing that. Stop beating yourself up. And he was like, you know, what you need to do now is focus on what's the next phase? What is this about? And I never forget, he said, how are you going to make him proud? How are you going to make your son proud? And it was like, I could do this. Like, this is, oh my gosh. And it amazed me. It really did. And God specifically told me, share your story, your testimony. And I'm like,
don't be shamed. Don't be trying to not tell, leaving things out.
Wait a minute now.
Not Dr. Tiffanie.
I can't tell everybody my business. I don't need everybody knowing what was going on in my life and how I was feeling and
everything.
The depression and the suicide. And I'm the therapist. I'm Dr. Williams now. I don't know. But it ate at me. I mean, and so finally, one day,
enough is enough. It's time.
It was time. It was time to move forward.
And was that the Facebook day that you
That was the day I posted on Facebook the story of my son, and
what happened.
What had happened. That was the first step in sharing
and healing.
Absolutely. It really was.
Y'all can't tell me social media ain't a blessing now. This is the second time she done got a social media blessing in the story. The first was the Instagram. Now it's Facebook. I'm telling you, some people just take, it's about what you make.
What you make of it. Yes.
You can use it in so many ways.
Yes.
But there's some amazing things with social media.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so you put it out, you tell the whole world, your friends, your whoever, this is what happened to me, and to your surprise, what happened right after?
I knew people lost, babies, lost children, had miscarriages, but it really didn't, of course, hit home until it happened to me.
Right.
And it didn't really resonate with how
many people?
Yes, how many go through this until people were inboxing me.
Right.
And I found that the more that I shared, the more I found out people were having it. Even my own cousin, who I didn't know, had experienced the loss of a child. So
immediately you found out you was not alone.
I was not alone.
You're not crazy.
I'm not crazy when
and
I'm
it's
feeling
okay to be Dr. Williams with these issues.
Exactly.
You are human.
Yes.
And
it happened. So it was like, it was very gratifying to know that me sharing my story, which at first I was embarrassed about, I will, you know, was actually helping people. And like I said, it was helping me. So, and
you start building a foundation.
I started building the foundation. Liam Lives Foundation Incorporated was incorporated on November the 28th of 2016 here in my living room. It is still in its infancy.
That's okay, because it started.
Yes, it has started, and the idea of Liam Lives is to be able to provide, you know, therapy and support services to families, to individuals who have dealt with, you know, pregnancy loss or miscarriage. Because what I was finding too in speaking with people, that some people weren't able to reach out to, you know, therapy services or
family, man.
Or
what do you say to the women who say, "You so lucky"? They're not using the word blessed. You so lucky you have your mom. You so lucky to have your dad. You so lucky to have your sister. You so lucky to have these friends and these angels. And because I don't have none of that, Tiffany. How in the world I'm supposed to get through it? What would you tell them now with the foundation?
Say there is a community of women, you know, like myself, who do understand, who are there to help. You know, we have a support group. You know, Liam Lives, we have a support group every month where women come and talk about their experiences and talk about, you know, the dynamics that have changed in their families because of the loss. Because it's not just a loss for that mother or that father. It's a loss for the grandparents. It's a loss for the aunts and the uncles. It's a loss for the children. You know, if the parents already have kids.
Exactly.
It's a loss for everybody. So it affects everyone in so many different ways.
And sometimes it's hidden and it will come out in other areas.
And it will come out in other areas. Absolutely. So you just have to be willing to reach out, because I think a lot of times
got to get over that hump of being embarrassed. That hump of
thinking something's wrong with me.
What's the purpose of it? I'm gonna always get through that. I'm gonna always think about it, because true. You're gonna always think about it. Yes, true. You're gonna always remember. Like she has. I mean, Liam is all over this house, you guys. she sees him everywhere.
Yes.
But however, to get through that, you have to just go day by day.
Day by day. And actually, our actual vision statement is, we will speak the names of our babies, never to be forgotten. No family will suffer in silence. And that is our vision, that no family will ever have to feel or think that they cannot speak about their children, speak about their lives, speak about the impact that their lives have made on their family and other people. We also are working on memory boxes. We're wanting to provide those to the community so that families can have something
to remember
and honor their children by. I needed to find something for him to be buried in, and I couldn't find anything for him to be buried in because he was just that tiny. I said, you know what, I want to be able to have a service that will make gowns for babies, or make clothes for babies to be buried in, especially babies that are just that small. You know, some babies who are born full term can, you know, wear clothing that you can get out of the children's place or any children's store, but you know, my son didn't have that luxury. So we're in the process of, you know, finding volunteer seamstresses and gathering, you know, materials to be able to provide those services. Education and advocacy is another part of our program. Always want to educate the community on the subject. We always want to advocate for individuals who are experiencing this. Providing resources on our website on miscarriage, stillbirth, also other resources such as different books people have written,
like help me books.
You know, those.
And your book, let's just go ahead and profoundly talk about the book that you will write, and you will.
I am in the process of writing a book.
And it would be an overview?
It will.
How to?
Let's
all
just
of
say,
it together? I know you want to give me all your secrets.
I know.
Give me the exclusive, honey.
I don't want to give it all out, but let's just say it is going to be a story of how God steps in and restores.
I love that. Restores and provides. And
Restores.
And he just provides in all ways, from people to from your past and up to that point, to education, to knowledge, to promptings, to
that
just it all. That's why he is all.
Yes.
That's amazing. So we look forward to that book.
Yes, in the future, yes, it will. Like I said, I'm working on it now, and sometime whenever God say move, that's when I do it. So.
Just move. Well, you're moving right now.
Until one day when I went to go visit my son at the gravesite.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed, there's all these babies with no marker, no.
Well, tell them about the spray paint.
Yeah, there's one baby, and I won't say the baby's name, but there's one baby there whose plot is basically outlined with spray paint. And for me, when my son's marker was put down, I really think, even though it's a sad thing, it's a much needed thing. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. It's much needed. It was very much needed to see that there. Yeah. And so I can just only imagine how other parents would feel not being able to have that identification there.
Right.
I mean, it means something. It really does mean something. And so we want to be able to, provide financial services for families so that they can, put a marker down on their child's plot.
Do you believe in cremation? Would you have like cremation pots for them created? Have you thought about that?
Not necessarily created, but I'm not opposed to helping a family if that's their choice.
If that's their choice
to cremate their child, then the foundation is definitely not opposed to helping that family.
Okay.
Pay for and earn to put their child in, because that's no different than paying for a casket.
But future.
Yes. The future.
What we heard the vision, we heard the mission of the foundation.
Yes.
What is the future? What do you see and want to look forward to actually become?
And what we want to do is get them from the point of the distress and the funeral and move straight into a healing process.
Gotcha.
So the idea of the foundation is to have an umbrella of services, where once you come in the doors, figuratively, you have all the resources at your disposal. Gotcha. You're not here just for therapy and you have to go somewhere else for this.
No.
You're coming one-stop shop, basically, and you have those resources at your fingertips. Our vision is to be national, international. We want to be able to provide these services on a national, international
I love it.
basis.
I love it.
Because we know there are people, not just here in Jacksonville, Florida, that are experiencing this. There are people in Texas, there are people in California, they're everywhere who are experiencing this. I mean, I read a statistic of like 2.5 million or some odd babies are dying every year.
Wow.
And so in some form or fashion, we can be of an assistance to
step in and be a bridge
to somebody. Some man, some woman, whomever. And so that is the vision.
Okay.
That is the vision.
I think it's a great. I know for sure Liam is so proud of his mommy.
Oh, yes.
He is about to become a hero to so many people. Y'all two together.
Yeah.
So you need to be proud to know that he's proud of you. He's not sitting here thinking that you just know where you're a failure. Look where you're sitting at.
Yeah.
So you guys are about to just do something that probably you guys couldn't do before as one and two together to come together to create him into this world. But he is created into becoming a hero to so many people now. And you're beyond failure, baby. You're a great mom. And future mom.
Thank you. Thank
Because
you.
look, we all gotta look towards our future babies out there.
Yeah.
You're already doing amazing things, just starting. So
Yes. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
I think it is amazing.
No, it is amazing.
Yeah.
There's no failure nowhere. You're striving to something along with him. He's, like you said, he's living, and
Right.
he is living because he's about to help so many people.
Right.
So we all look forward. You have a hotline, text message hotline, maybe coming soon.
I
They
don't
can say,
have that,
"Hey,
but
Tiff."
wow,
That's good.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Hey Tiff, my name is Sarah, and I'm going through X, Y, and Z, and who knows, there could be volunteers on the staff to help.
Absolutely. Well, we
A little nugget.
I know something to think about. The website will, of course, give all of the information,
Everything.
about about Liam, about my executive team, the programs that we have, and also the different fundraisers, how you can donate, how you can assist us in reaching our goal and attaining our vision.
So what is one last thing you would like to say to parents, single mothers, dads who probably split like how you and the person split? No, you want to talk about it. But what do you say to them in this process of now? It's almost what? We're in 6 months later, almost, right? What do you say to them that just keep hope? Like one last thing you want to just tell them, and it's from all of this we heard today. What do you want to give them? One piece of something to hold on to.
Faith, hope, courage, and love. Rely on that heavily,
And you'll be fine.
and you will be fine. If you choose to do it, if you choose to rely on those things, you will see it through. And it's day by day.
Every day
It's
is
not
different.
It's not something that happens overnight. Not to beat yourself up for being upset or sad about
Not
it.
to beat yourself up
Yes.
for. Okay? That's a constant reminder to you.
Yes,
There's no failing here.
Yes. I have to. You're right. You're
There's
right.
no failing
No
here.
failing.
Keep that in reminder. What you're doing is
Yeah, I have to remind myself constantly because there are days when just be gentle with yourself.
patient.
Be patient with yourself and reach out to people. Let people be there for you.
Right.
The right people, though.
Yeah, really the right people. Well, we want to thank you for sharing your story, my dear.
Oh,
Thank you for letting me come.
I know, right?
It's been a long time.
Long time. Yeah, we have
Summer.
Yeah.
A long time since I've seen you.
Well, that part.
Yeah, but a long time. My butt was supposed to be here,
Long
but
time.
I think I came right on time. I think
You did.
everything worked out perfectly. So you guys, thank you for watching. Thumbs up this video. If you have any questions, make sure you contact this wonderful mother, doctor, and lady of FSU. But so yeah, contact her. The website is here. Facebook is here. Email address is here. And any questions, comment below. Let us know what you're talking about. Of any feedback, any concerns, any questions you have for her, put them below as well. She'll probably just go ahead and just comment. You have YouTube, right? Yeah. She'll comment. I'll comment. Or if I have the knack of like, hey, go on YouTube right now. There's a comment. Go ahead and answer that. So I'll make sure I step in for that too.
Yes.
And what I love to do, if y'all know my other videos, I haven't done that many videos yet. But what I love to do is to end a video with a song, right? I want you to think of a song. It can be inspirational. It can be twerk song. It can be yeah, fool you. It could be anything. One of your favorite songs that you know by heart right now on the top of your head.
Yes, I know.
What's the name?
I know. The song is called Intentional by Travis Green. That is the song that I play every single time I go to visit my son. And that's a tribute to him and to, you know, where I am in life and where God is taking me. So, Intentional by Travis Green. Never fail.